Hello, welcome to Autistic Toolkit. This is the first video on my channel, and this channel is going to be primarily about dating for autistic men, basically how to navigate the dating space as an autistic man. I'm an autistic man myself. I was diagnosed at 35. I'm 36 years old now. And at that point of my diagnosis, I'd been able to master my dating life, learning how to do it, going from someone who was unkissed at 26 years old to living my dream dating life at, 36 years old that I am right now. And I learned all these things before I got my diagnosis. Now, I want this video to be just me talking about my experience dating as an autistic man, what getting my diagnosis meant for me, and basically maybe even give you some tips and some advice. This is my first video, so I don't really know what I'm doing yet, so please just bear with me. I try to keep this as raw and uncut as possible, because I feel like I like this authenticity of not having all like tons of jump cuts and going back and forth and trying to make it look super polished, because, life is not polished. You can't, edit yourself in life when you're out with people, talking to people. So I feel having a more direct, uncut talk would be nice. So what I want to say first, if you are an autistic man watching this, I want to say that you're not broken. That's what I felt like when I was 24 years old. I remember I was sitting in my couch, my parents' house, at night, thinking, why can't I make this work? Why can't I have a girlfriend? Why is my dating life only happening in my mind and not out here? Right? What am I missing? Why is it so difficult for me to do this? Why is it so difficult for me to show someone that I am attracted to them? Why is it so difficult for me to get a date? And at that point, 23, 24 years old, I was still unkissed. I had no experience with women at all. And I made a choice. And the choice was, either I fix this in my life, or I'm never gonna have a girlfriend. And I can remember that pain, because that pain was very, it was a sadness, it was a depression, but also a panic in me, that I felt I need to learn how to do this, I need to fix this, and I'll do whatever it takes to learn how to do it and get results. So what I did is, I did like a lot of guys do in my position, maybe you're there right now. I went on the internet and I started looking for solutions. And I would read all tips and tricks, and I would go on YouTube and I would watch videos. And I would try to piece together, like a system from the things that I learned. But what I noticed is that I was still just sitting at home on my computer, but I wasn't really going out and doing anything. I wasn't meeting anyone. I wasn't, doing this as I wasn't doing the practical exercises. I was only sitting there doing the theory. And I think it took me probably a year, maybe more than that, of just sitting at home, being mostly isolated, which I was at that time in my life. And then deciding after a year that, okay, I got to go out and actually start doing stuff. So I would go to malls and I would go into all the different shops. I would do this almost every day. So I guess the people working in the mall would see me every day going into these different stores. And what I would do is I would just start talking to people working there. Didn't matter if it was a man or a woman, but I just needed to start talking to people and getting comfortable with talking to people. So I would just go in there and I would say, hey, I'm looking for a shirt, or I'm looking for pants, or just even trying to like strike up a conversation. And I would do this again and again and again and again. I would do this a lot. But I wouldn't get anywhere with it, right? I would talk to a girl, but I wouldn't be able to do anything with it, right? It was just a conversation. But I felt like it was a win because I was taking things one level further than what I did before. To back up a little bit to my childhood, I'm sorry, this video, I'm gonna jump a little bit back and forth, just taking it up off the top of my head right now. But when I was a kid, I was super shy. Like, I was probably the shyest guy in school, definitely in my class. And that lasted from when I was like as young as I can remember, right? Kindergarten. Until I started taking these steps at 24, 25, 26 years old. And I even remember being 16 and a friend in high school asked me if I had selective mutism, which is like an extreme form of social anxiety, right? We only talk to a select number of people. So for me, to go back to my story, when I was talking to people in the malls, for me to just be going out there and talking to people was a great win. It was a huge win. But as I said before, I didn't really get anywhere with it, right? There wasn't any, I didn't get any dates. Nothing really happened, but I felt like I was making progress. So after doing this for a few months, I decided that I needed to take it one step further. And what that led me to do was 3 full years of going to clubs and pubs almost every single day, every single night, talking to girls, trying to get some results. And I'll tell you, it did take me about 3 years until I got any results. So I was going out every single night, trying different things that I learned on YouTube, trying different things that I read about in books, but I wouldn't get anywhere. But I stumbled over a group of, or a set of structures that I'm going to show you. I have a cheat sheet, a dating cheat sheet that I've made. That's below this video. You can download it if you want. It's free, and it's a video of me explaining the different points on it. So take a look at it. It's in the description if you want to. But I would stumble across a set of like rules or structures that would take an interaction from being like platonic, just a conversation, to becoming romantic. And once I started applying these structures, I started getting results. So after 3 years of going out, trying to figure this out, learning all the different things I could learn, I finally started getting some results. And around that time, I also started really focusing in on online dating, which when I look at it now, is a much easier way, I think, for autistic guys to meet women, because you don't have to go out to loud clubs. You don't have to deal with all the different variables that happen when you're meeting people in real life. So I would really start experimenting with the different pictures I could use, trying to build a little bit of muscle, trying different styles. And I would start getting good results on my Tinder profile, right? And that led me to be able to go on even more dates and kind of fine-tune my approach a little bit to be able to date the women that I wanted to meet, how to be natural on a date, and how to figure out how to kind of have a little bit of a structure on a date without censoring myself, without masking too much, okay? So what that led me to do was to start a Tinder photography business that I've done now for many years, since 2018. And I've helped like 300 guys get better results on Tinder with an optimized profile. I'll talk about some of the tips on this channel in another video if you're interested. And kind of to summarize a little bit, like where I'm going with this is that I want to say dating isn't impossible if you're an autistic guy. If I got my diagnosis when I was younger, if I got my diagnosis when I was a kid, I don't even know if I would have tried as hard as I did to master dating. And looking back, I'm very happy that I did, right? So in a way, it's a little bit of a blessing, I guess, that I got my diagnosis later. And also, it could enable me to help some people. Hopefully, you find this very helpful. And that would be my biggest goal with this channel, is to be able to help someone who was where I was when I was 23, 24 years old, sitting at home, being very lonely and feeling depressed and very isolated, which I was at that time. Again, this is my first video. I'll make a lot more. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later.